Harihi Harihi Om Tat Sat. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru. Shuddho Buddho Vimuktaha Shruti Shikhara Giram Mukhyatat Paryabhumihi Yasmajjatam Samastam Jagadidam Amrtat Vyapya Sarvam Sthido Yaha Yasyam Sham Shavataraihi Suranaravanajairekshidam Sarvametad Tam Bhoomanam Mukundam Hridigatamamalam Krishnameva Prapadye. Tam Bhoomanam Mukundam Hridigatamamalam Krishnameva Prapadye. Madhya Hridaya Kashe Sadanandamayo Guru Udetu Satatam Samyak Swatmananda Prabodhagaha. Swatmananda Prabodhagaha. Hari 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 Harihi Om Tats. Jaya Guru, Jaya Guru, Jaya Guru. As usual, we shall have collective recitation of the auspicious monosyllable Omkara 3 times. Interlock your fingers and put them on your lap. Sit comfortably erect, but be careful to see that you don't hurt yourself. To the extent it is possible to be straight, not more than that. Close your eyes. Open the mind as well as mouth and join me. I need not say that our joint recitation should spread upon the whole earth, showering its benedictions on all the creatures thriving upon the earth. This is one way by which your mind and heart will be given to expansion. They are already expansive, but you are not able to understand that it is so. Harihi, Harihi. Our Gita shloka. Karpanya dosho bahata svabhavaha.
Karpanya dosho bahata svabhavaha.
Prichhami tvam.
Prichhami tvam.
Dharma sammudha chetah.
Dharma sammudha chetah.
Yachreyasyad
यच्छ्रेयस्यात्
Nishchitam Bruhi Tanme
निश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे
Shishyasteham
शिष्यस्तेऽहं
Shadhimam
शाधि मां
Tvam Prabannam
त्वां प्रपन्नम्
Shishyasteham
शिष्यस्तेऽहं
Shadhimam
शाधि मां
Tvam Prabannam
त्वां प्रपन्नम्.
We are discussing the 5th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Naturally, we have covered all the 4 and we are almost reaching the end of the 5th chapter. This certainly means that the discussion has progressed so far as the essence and substance of it are concerned sufficiently well. Initially, it was trying to speak about the grief of Arjuna, assuaging the grief. I think that part was over. By the end of the 2nd chapter itself, Krishna had referred to Brahmasthiti and Brahma Nirvana. That means the loftiest in spirituality. Then Arjuna raised a question, whether I should not try for getting Brahma Nirvana straight away by renouncing all activity. Why should you ask me to engage in this fierce war? So that gave a new dimension to the whole discussion. So Krishna went on speaking about the role, the place and the purpose of activity in the context of the entire world and also in the context of the individual, the very upkeep of the body. Our body is meant only to be active. Otherwise we need not have a body at all. What is breathing? What is the beating of the heart? What is the preservation of heat in the body? What about the food we eat, the peristaltic movement of the stomach, the intestines that follows? All these are activities. The revolution of the earth, the revolution of all individual celestial bodies, everything is in a state of activity, nothing is still. So he explained everything, then went to the 4th chapter. There also the subject of wisdom was explained. The entire emphasis and message of Krishna are very, very clear. He says, whatever you propose to achieve spiritually has to be achieved while being here and now. Are you taking food? Yes. If you are taking food, will it not be converted into energy? Yes. And what will you do with the energy? You will have to utilize it, spend it in the form of activity. If you don't have food, there is no problem. Nobody will say, I will not take food. Till the last breath we are taking food. In one way or the other. What is the philosophy of the medicinal science? They say preserve life, and intravenous food you give. And once you take food, it builds energy. And that energy has to be spent in the form of activity. So the activity part is indispensable in life. Whatever we want to achieve spiritually, it has to be achieved in and through these activities and interactions. So in the 4th chapter, Jnana Karma Yoga, then we are discussing the 5th chapter now, where the emphasis is on Sannyasa. What does it mean? I don't know whether you are not following the whole discussion, how it goes on developing. He is discussing Sannyasa in the 5th chapter. And what is sannyasa? Sannyasa is not the cessation or abandonment of activities. It is, on the other hand, activity cannot be abandoned, so never speak a word about it. Then what is renunciation? Renunciation can only be of the wrong notions, assessments, outlooks, visions, objectives and evaluations. All the evaluations that you have, all are wrong. So abandon the wrong evaluation and install the right one. This is called sannyasa. Abandon your desire, abandon your greed, abandon your possessiveness, abandon the ego position in you. Yet be active, very well active. Abandon the constrictions of your mind, the delusions of your mind, the ignorance and indecision of your intelligence, and make your mind placid, peaceful, very delightful. Make the intelligence clear, brilliant, luminous, effulgent. This is what we want. Now, how can this be achieved? Only by a mento-intellectual process. Sri Krishna speaks, Arjuna hears. Sri Krishna uses the vocal system, Arjuna uses the ear system. And the rest of it is all mento-intellectual. Sri Krishna with every word is presenting an idea, instilling an idea. An idea is a unit of knowledge. So Sri Krishna through his speech is infusing and instilling knowledge into Arjuna through words. By grasping them, Arjuna becomes more and more knowledgeable, more and more illumined, more and more luminous also. Are you really grasping the message? I am wondering. Everybody will read Bhagavad Gita. But what is this Bhagavad Gita? It is imparting knowledge. One man, using his intelligence, transmits knowledge to the listener, to the hearer. And he uses the medium of words. That's all. But what is transmitted is knowledge. The words are up to the eardrum. Thereafter it is knowledge. And we have reached a stage where Sri Krishna is discussing everything is centered in the mind and the intelligence. The yogi, the seeker, the knower, the sadhaka. Where is his focus? His focus is in the mind. His focus is in the mind. Maybe the mind is clouded now. It is crowded also. So the mind has to be made better. It should be made purer. There should be no tension. There should be no stress. So we are going to the 24th verse of the 5th chapter. Yonta sukho antararamaha tatha antarjyotirevayah sa yogi Brahma Nirvanam Brahma bhutodhigacchati. The discussion has gone to the most exalted level. What is that? Brahma bhutaha Brahma Nirvanam adhigacchati. The so-called human individual, the seeker, that seeker becomes what? Brahma bhutaha. Normally we feel we are all the body. And what is the body? It is a composition of the Panchabhutas, the solid earth, the fluid water, the gaseous air, the brilliant and hot fire, and the indescribable space. All of them are matter, energy. That is what the body is. But do you know that it is an outcome of food? What is food? Food is matter. And what is the outcome of matter? Matter. So our body is a mere inert material mass. Because it is a physical mass, it is inert, I-N-E-R-T, insentient. Because it is inert, it cannot generate an experience or knowledge. At the same time, we are all experiential alone, all the 24 hours. In sleep also we are experiencing, but we are not expressing it in sleep. Only when we wake up we say we were asleep and did not know anything. But that was also an experience. Everybody says, I slept, just like I saw, I ate, I heard, I slept. Sleep is an intransitive verb, so there is no object involved in sleep. It's an experience. Throughout our life we are experiencing, we are experiential. If the experience cannot be generated by the body and the senses because they are inert, the question necessarily arises, where from these experiences come? Not from the body and senses. But from where? From the mind, M-I-N-D. And what is this mind? It is above matter and energy. Mind is not a physical part of the body. Body is associated with the mind. The entire study is the study of the mind, the study of the intelligence, understanding the measure and magnitude of both, the potential of both, the possibilities of both. That's all the study of spirituality. So he says, would you like to recite this verse? Yonta sukhondara ramaha
Yontas sukhontara ramaha
tathantar jyotirevayah
tathantar jyotirevayah
Yonta sukhondara ramaha
Yontas sukhontara ramaha
tathantar jyotirevayah sahayah
tathantar jyotirevayah
tathantar jyotirevayah
tathantar jyotirevayah
sayogi brahma nirvanam
sayogi brahma nirvanam
brahma bhuto dhigacchati
brahma bhuto dhigacchati
sayogi brahma nirvanam
sayogi brahma nirvanam
brahma bhuto dhigacchati
brahma bhuto dhigacchati.
See what Krishna says. That yogi attains Brahma Nirvana, the ecstatic freedom resulting from the knowledge of Brahman. What is Brahman? Brahman is the only matter-energy different presence in the whole creation. I have said this earlier also, but you are not remembering. You don't do the necessary introspection and contemplation of what you have heard. The entire world consists of, the creation as a whole, consists of only matter and energy. Everywhere it is matter and energy. What about the celestial bodies? Either they are matter or they are energy. Other than matter and energy, which are inert, which are inert, what is there? There is only one factor, the third, the presence. And that presence is what you have in your body, which is animating the body and activating the body. Will you understand, my dear children, that every one of you is carrying something like a wooden stool, a chair. This body is a mass of matter. A piece of wood, a piece of clay, a piece of stone, a piece of metal. It is totally inert. And that inert body is animated by the mind, which is above matter and energy. Understanding this inner presence which animates the mind and animates and activates the body, that is Brahma Nirvana. Have you ever understood your personality? So far as body is concerned, for every complaint you will go to the doctor. Doctor knows our body. We don't know our body. Everything is written off for the doctor. Now, other than the doctor, other than the body, you have a presence. That presence is within you, and the doctor will not be able to say or do anything about it. That inner presence, have you ever concerned about it? Have you ever thought about it? Why? 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 You are repeatedly saying, I. Is it a reference to the body? You refer to the body as my body, never I. The I is deep within the body. That I, when you understand it in full measure, that knowledge is Brahman, that knowledge is Atma, Brahman, and also Bhagavan. We are speaking about God and running after temple one after the other. What is installed in the temple is a piece of stone or something similar. We have installed it. How can the idol we install suddenly become God? The idol only idolizes God. It is not God, it is idolizing. From a huge piece of rock, a piece is split, taken, broken. And the craftsman goes on working on it, Shilpi, and he gives a form. And we consecrate the idol. Who consecrates? Man consecrates. So the consecration is an act done by the human, as a result of which we call the idol to be godly. So Brahma Nirvana is the redemption you get. Why it is called Nirvana? You understand that the inner presence animating the body, activating the body, is absolutely inaccessible to all forms of matter and energy. It can never be affected by anything. Once you understand this, you have become free. That is called Nirvana. Nirvana or redemption arises from knowledge. It is an outcome of knowledge. It is not an outcome of any act or activity. Brahma bhutodhigacchati. You get Brahma Nirvana by becoming Brahman. What does it mean? Are you not already the inner presence, or are you the body? Are you the inert body, or are you the sentient inner presence? We can only be the sentient inner presence. If it is so, are you not a Brahma Bhuta? Brahma Nirvanam adhigacchati. Krishna is using the present tense there. He attains Brahma Nirvana right here and now. Who? Yaha antas sukha antararamaha antarjyoti. 3 words he uses. Yaha antas sukha. Say that.
Antas sukha.
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 Antas sukha Along with me say, Antas Sukha, Antas Sukha, Antas Sukha, Antas Sukha. What does it mean? He who has his happiness, his contentment, his joy within the body, not in the body and the senses. The body is inert, the senses are inert. These are days when the idea can be understood far better and clearer. See, in a dead body, if anybody has donated his cornea, so before it becomes cold, the doctors come and extract the cornea. They graft it to a man who is blind. In the dead body, it is not able to see because the body is dead. It is not animated anymore. When it is grafted to the animated body, it begins to see. Tell me whether the cornea is by itself inert or sentient. Huh? It is inert. But it is suddenly taken and grafted to a blind man. In the blind body, animation is there. So you tell me very clearly, all kinds of happiness that we are experiencing, are they in the body or are they within in the mind? People don't know it. They think my eye gives me delight, my ears give me delight, my tongue gives me delight. The tongue of a dead body, will it have taste? So, Antas Sukha. For the Sukha, he never looks outside. Contentment and happiness, they are emotional. They are emotional. As an emotion, it belongs to the mind. If it belongs to the mind and the mind is internal, not the body, inside the body, in order to get happiness and delight, where should you look to? Can this give me happiness? Can this give me happiness? Matter is not potent enough to cause any experience or knowledge, we have already said. So what object in this world will be able to produce happiness for me? Will any object enter into the mind through the senses? You can put food substances into the mouth, that is in the body. You can wear a glass on the ear and the nose. Nothing is going inside to touch the mind, involve the mind. So experiences are absolutely inner, mental. So the Sukha also, an emotion, is produced by the mind. The yogi understands this. So whatever Sukha he looks for, he knows very clearly it is inhering within him. Antas Sukha. Knowing this truth, he is always inward, 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 inward. In his understanding, not that he will go on looking into within and spend his time throughout the day. No. He understands the point. Antararamaha. Similarly, all the delight, all the joy, all the revelry that he has is also inner. Antarjyodihi. I am wondering whether you will grasp what I say and you will be true to what you grasp. I have a doubt. All of you are backward in that, not forward. Antarjyodihi. Every time I get my light and illumination from within, not from outside. See, I am talking to you and sufficient light is focused on my body. The light seems to be external as the eyes determine. But let me tell you, the light itself is visible to my eyes. And my eyes are animated from within. So the perception of light itself, the perception, I don't think you are with me. The perception and perceiving process, can the body or the senses do? Because the senses are inert, the body is inert. They have no potential at all to experience and or know. So the perception is initiated, the perceiving process is initiated by the mind. It employs the senses for a while. But the whole process is resting within. So our illumination, is it inner or outside? Huh? This requires intelligence. You already have intelligence. Why don't you use it? Right from the beginning you went to school and learned about what? External things. In my young days I remember the teacher was teaching me to count. He will say 1 plus 2. Then I will have to look at the finger and then say 1 plus 2, 1 plus 2, 1, 1, 2, like that. So unless I look at my finger and fold, that was the habit then, he will give me a hit, knock. The same boy, when he reached the 4th class and he was asking me 1 plus 2, 1 plus 3, how much it is? If I start looking at the finger, then also he will hit. That means you must be able to say 1 plus 3, 4 mentally, using your intelligence, without the visual aid. So you tell me the entire knowing process, is it taking place in the body or in senses, or inside in the mind and intelligence? So this is what Bhagavad Gita says. Yontas sukhontara ramaha tathandar jyotirevayah. Bah. Repeatedly I have said, I will still continue to say, all kinds of growth are from inside to outside. Our experience is inside. Our perception is inside. Our comprehension is inside. Our assessment is inside. Our analysis is inside. Our conclusions are inside. Our thoughts are inside. Our emotions are inside. Our reasoning is inside. Our memory is inside. What is there outside? You tell me. That we have a body is a notion in the mind. Yontas sukhontara ramaha tathandar jyotirevayah sa yogi. When he has started becoming like this, he becomes an inward enjoyer, experiencer, inward delighter, inward illuminer. Andasukha antararamaha tatha antarjyotirevayah sa yogi Brahma Nirvanam. That person becomes a yogi and he attains Brahma Nirvana. Brahma bhuto adhigacchati. Not that he attains Brahma Nirvana, he becomes Brahman himself. He becomes the inner presence. Any time you ask him, he will never say, I am the body, the material, physical mass or sheath. I am the inner presence. I am the inner presence. I am the sentience. I am consciousness. I am the illuminer. Knowledge, where is the knowledge? Is it in the nose? Is it in the ear? Sa yogi Brahma Nirvanam Brahma Bhuto Adhigacchati. He attains this. See what a wonderful statement. Where have we reached now? We have reached the entire end of spirituality, the most exalted abode, where you becomes an inward delighter, an inward enjoyer, an inward exalted. Sa yogi Brahma Nirvanam Brahma Bhuto Adhigacchati. I am wondering, are you able to understand me? It is a misunderstanding, it is a delusion to say that all our experiences are body-based. I see a tree because of my eyes. The eyes are employed by the mind. Our whole body is shaped also by the mind. See, the fetus in the mother's womb, it started growing by a principle of multiplication of cells. From a single cell, the whole process started. How big or how small was the cell? And how huge is the body? This growth from a single cell to a physical mass, an aggregate of molecules, where did it take place? In the mother's womb. And who instrumented it? Who shaped it? Who designed it? Can the body design it? The body is inert. So there is an inner presence which animates the whole thing. So it has designed the eyes. The eyes which it has designed, it employs in order to see the objects outside. Light rays get reflected from the objects, they touch the cornea, electrical pulses go up to the brain center where experiences and knowledge take place, transpire. It's a question of understanding this, my dear souls. You have to employ your intelligence. Knowledge belongs only to the intelligence. Intelligence is knowledge. It gains knowledge, it works on knowledge. Knowledge alone is the prerogative of intelligence. Sa yogi Brahma Nirvanam Brahma Bhuto Adhigacchati. I have written a few verses. I thought I will read them here. I have never read them anywhere so far. Sukhasya prabhavam chaiva layam chaiva antarevahi idi matva sukhartham tu kadabhi bahya vastuni ichham tat paradam vapi na karot alpamevahi. I shall prove to you, my dear souls, I have that excellence in me. I started my meandering life when my body was 23 years old. Ever since then, I have been only in this pursuit. Nothing else. This is all called a knowledge pursuit. This knowledge was so engulfing, so inspiring, so enlightening, so persuasive, so compelling, that for the sake of this knowledge, I left everything. This is called sannyasa. And from then on, what was I doing? I would only open my mouth and speak, if at all. Then I started writing also. Now also I do only speaking or writing. I speak to the people who come to the ashram. Otherwise I write. Even 5 minutes and 2 minutes I write when I get time. Now the writing is in a way easier. But I'm having pain on both these places. So I'm taking exercises. To some extent the pain is alleviated. I could not type even half a page of A4 sheet. The pain. I thought it was something done by the fingertips, but the trouble is here. The tendons become knotted. Yonda sukhondararamastataam darjyotirevayah sa yogi Brahma Nirvanam Brahma bhutodhigacchati. See, I told you in the second chapter itself he was referring to Brahma Nirvana. Now he has really presented it. What is this Brahma Nirvana? A man who is focused on his own mind and intelligence. In order to understand and realize and experience, actualize the presence inside the body which animates and activates the inert body and senses. Sukhasya prabhavam jaiva layam jaiva antarevahi. Sukhasya prabhavam. Prabhavam means what? The source. From where it has originated. It originates. So what is the source of Sukha? Similarly, when Sukha ends, where is that dissolution? So the origin of Sukha, the source of Sukha, as well as the terminus, it is antarevahi. It takes place only within our body, not in the body, not in the heart, not in the lungs, not in pancreas, not in kidney. It is inside the body. Iti matva sukhartham tu kadabi bahyavastuni. Thinking and reflecting in this manner and being confirmed in the understanding, for the sake of Sukha, sukhartham tu, kadabi, never at any point of time, bahyavastuni, ichham tatparadam vabi, never foster an interest in the outside object, even to a small measure, na karodi alpamevahi. Shall I stand up and address you? My dear children, this is knowledge. Sukha is an experience. The body and senses cannot produce it because they are inert matter. So where from can we feel it? Only from inside the body. Is it not a fact or is it a fiction? What more do you want to understand this? Once you have understood it, it is your understanding. You must become true to it. Oh, experiences are inward. Sukha is an experience. It cannot be arising from the body and the senses. It can only emerge from within the body in a plane which is different from matter, above energy. So the birth of Sukha, the source of Sukha, as well as the dissolution, the end of it, both of them are inside my body. Deciding in this manner, understanding in this manner, ascertaining in this manner, for the sake of Sukha, I will never look to an outside object. I will never desire an outside object in order to have Sukha. Because the object is inert. How can it produce anything? When you buy a car, where do you keep it? On your head? Inside the shirt? Where do you keep it? You keep it in the garage. Then what do you have about it? You have the feeling and notion that I have bought a car and it is in the garage. It is this thought process that gives you joy. It is not the car. Suppose the car is there and you are not able to feel, I have a car and I own a car, then will it give you joy? See, Vedanta is very, very reasonable and rational. Icham tatparadam vapi na karot tvalpamevahi. Even to a small extent you should not have desire. Because no desired object will be able to give me any kind of a joy by itself. If I get a joy, it is because I feel I have got the desired object. Swachha samshanta chittasya vrittaya shuddhitoshadaha antara jyodidastasu kridandi jnanino brusham. How do the knowers spend their time? Swachha samshanta chittasya. When the mind becomes clear, transparent, and it becomes placid, the mind will become placid and transparent. Vrittayaha shuddhitoshadaha. I don't know whether you are with me. Now you have a clouded mind, like muddy water. When the mind becomes purer and purer, the constrictions begin to fall and the mind becomes free. You know, we take a piece of twine, and then you make a circle and pass through, like this pull, there will be a knot. And go on putting several knots, knot over knots. It will be something, what will be the twine like? Everywhere, anywhere you touch, you will feel hurt. It is in the same manner your mind is now. It is knotted everywhere. That is what I call constriction. So the constrictions of the mind should become loose. Everything should go. When it becomes swachha, samshanta chittasya, then the mind becomes peaceful and placid. Vrittayaha shuddhitoshadaha. Such a pure and placid mind, whatever vritti means function, whatever thoughts, modifications, processes take place in such a pure and beautiful, placid, immaculate mind, it produces delight. How did Valmiki write 24,000 Sanskrit verses? Each of which is delightful, full of knowledge, profound in every way. And writing in those days were very difficult. They used to write on palm leaves with a stout, sharp pen. They will hold it like this. Like this. And what were they doing? They were cutting the fiber of the leaf. Two sides, here as well as here. Say, here and here. It will be folded like this. Suppose they make one mistake in writing any letter, the whole leaf had to be rejected. Because there is no way of wiping and rewriting. And 24,000 Sanskrit verses he has written. Tell me, how did he write? How that poetic rhythm emerged in his mind? Because the mind was so attuned, refined, reformed, so much harmonized. So, swachha samshanta chittasya vrittayaha shuddhitoshadaha. The functions of a pure mind, quiescent mind, will be very pure, noble and delightful. Antara jyodidastasu. They always emit inner light. That is what you call insight, vision, perception. Antara jyodidastasu Kridanti jnanino bhrisham. The knowers of truth are actually sporting, exulting in their own inner mental modifications. What is the nature of a normal mind? Crowded, clouded, absolutely impure, never thinks of anything other than object. Whenever you refer to an object, first of all standing on the subject. Whenever an object is there, it becomes an object with reference to a subject. So you tell me whether the subject is first or object is first. Subject is the first. In the absence of the subject, there cannot be an object. But with no object, the subject can still be. That is how you sleep for 8 hours. There is no object there. You are unconscious of the body, of the mind, of the intelligence, of the ego, of the world. Still you slept. Where? We don't know. When you are sleeping on a cot, are you conscious of the cot? No. It is actually nowhere and nothing. So the subject alone is there. All the objects have gone. Similarly, can the reverse be true? Without the subject, can the object ever be? Whenever you see the world, you are seeing the world. I am seeing, you are seeing. Where are you seeing? You are seeing the world. The perception is inside, the imprint is inside. So I am seeing the world imprinted in my mind by the mind. Ekatattva ghanabhyasad swamano sada prakasham cha prasadam cha purna safalyamodanam dadatyaharnisham swantah nairapaiksya mahattvada. I need not say this verse, but I am saying Ekatattva ghanabhyasad swamano sada. You have to practice Brahma vritti, Atma vritti. What is that? Eka tattva ghanabhyasaha. The intense practice of oneness. What is this oneness? I slept. Then I woke up. So this waking up is done by whom? By me, who was asleep. In the sleep there was nothing and there was nowhere. From such a state, I woke up. When I woke up, it is my display. I become express. So when I wake up, I see the world. Is not waking up an expression and extension of you? I was sleeping, coiled up within myself, absorbed within myself. From that state, I opened my eyes. I woke up. And when I woke up, what happened? There was an expression. The dormancy was terminated and I became express. Apart from expression, it was also an extension. I used my eyes. I used my skin. I used my ears. These are all in me, in my body. So, the whole wakeful world is an expression and extension of myself. This is the truth. And this truth you have to intensely practice. Ekatattva ghanabhyasad swamano sada. all the functions of your mind, mental modifications, prakasham cha prasadam cha purna saphalya modanam dadati. All the illumination and effulgence you look for, prasada, placidity, purna, full, saphalya, fulfillment, modana, the delight that follows it. All these are bestowed by this ekatattva ghanabhyasa. It's a fact. What is thought? Mind thinks. So thought is a product the mind produces in itself. The substance in the mind and the thought of the mind, they are the same. What is the difference? All the thoughts are emerging in the mind, subsiding in the mind. Can you number them? Where are they collected? Are they stacked? Just like pots are made from the clay, all of them are kept one after the other. Do we keep thoughts like that? So what is that? It is not different from the mind at all. What are the waves? The waves are the sea water itself. What about the breakers? What about the bubbles? What about the lather? Purna saphalya modanam dadatyaharnisham swantaha, day in and day out. During the day as well as the night. Swantaha. The sense of fulfillment is generated inside yourself. Nairapekshya mahatvadaha. By the greatness and glory of non-expectation. Do not expect. Why should you expect? I always tell the people who come here, try to improve your skill, improve your merit. When you improve your skill and merit, automatically people will seek to employ you. Suppose you don't improve your skill and merit, who will want you? Why should you expect? Why should you desire? Why should you have greed? Are you employed anywhere after coming to know how greedy you are and how desireful you are? Depending upon your desires you are valued, or depending upon your performance, your perseverance, your ability. And that ability is in the way of knowledge and the way you are able to achieve the object of knowledge. We go to the next verse. Labhande Brahma Nirvanam Rishayah Kshina Kalmashaha Chinnadvaitha Yatatmanaha Sarvabhuta Hiderata. This is the distinction, greatness and glory of Gita. How Krishna speaks to Arjuna. To begin with, it was a dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna. And it was about the war in front. Now that stage is all over. The dialogue has become universal, not focused on one Arjuna. Arjuna also started questions like this. He says, Labhande Brahma Nirvanam Rishayah Kshina Kalmashaha Chinnadvaitha Yatatmanaha Sarvabhuta Hite Rata. Would you like to recite it? Labhante Brahma Nirvanam
Labhante Brahma Nirvanam
Rishayah Kshina Kalmashaha
Rishayah Kshina Kalmashaha
Chinnadvaitha Yatatmanaha
Chinnadvaitha Yatatmanaha
Sarvabhuta Hite Rata
सर्वभूतहिते रताः
सर्वभूतहिते रताः
सर्वभूतहिते रताः.
This time when we went to Malaysia, our annual Jnana program was there, but in addition, there was the inauguration of Atithi Niketan there. So an additional building, it so happened that the building is just close to, just on the right side of the existing building with the common wall. So it was not a different building. Now steps and ramp have been provided after opening the wall. So the two compounds are differential. Level is different, that's all. So it is the same. So the whole session was Sarva Bhuta Hite Rataha. That was the name given. The Jnana Yajna was on Sarva Bhuta Hite Rataha. In the Atithi Niketan, one program that the Malaysian SIRD has taken up is Kalvi Mayyam. It is a Tamil combination, educational center. For the, generally we say, underprivileged children. So these children returned from school at about 1 o'clock. And the parents return after their work by 5 or 6. So they have a few hours. Generally they are left uncared. So our people, I had told them, I have a special concern for these children. All of them are Indian children, Tamil children mostly. Their psychology is very, very poor. They suffer from an inferiority complex. The parents will not be able to build up their psychology. So I was always saying that what they need is not alone education, but an upliftment in their inner personality. They must have confidence that I can make my life. So our people have evolved an I can program. Oh, it's a wonderful program, Baba. It requires a lot of energy. I can. That is the subject. And it has been tried in so many schools. All of them at the end of the program say, I can, I can, I can, I shall, I will. See the difference? So, the emphasis I had made last time was, you should take interest in the society and try to do something. Krishna and Bhagavad Gita use this expression twice in Bhagavad Gita. Sarva Bhuta Hite Radaha. First time is here. Verse number 25. Labhante Brahma Nirvanam Rishayaha Kshina Kalmashaha Chinnadvaitha Yadatmanaha Sarva Bhuta Hite Radaha. Even for the sages, ascetics, Krishna says they should be interested in the welfare of all beings. This is the one factor that brings expansion to your mind and heart. I always say, a plant is withering. Take some water and pour it. How grateful the plant will be for you. Let the plant be anywhere. Need not be it in your house. Maybe on the footpath. Similarly, there are birds. Why don't you give them a little rice? Keep a little water. In the ashram, we keep water in mud vessels. The birds come and drink. We also give them rice. All of them come and take. What is the harm? How much you will need? As you are, so are others. Can an individual live his life all alone? What is the food that you are eating? Made by so many people in so many different parts of the world. What about the dress you wear? Who has made the cloth? Who has spun it? Who has woven it? Who has dyed it? Who has stitched it? Everywhere we always say family gives birth to a child, a member. But the family member, that member, the individual, he constitutes also the family. The bigger societal segment, then the whole nation, the whole globe. So the individual is actually a concenter. The smaller circle is the family. The bigger circle is the societal segment. The still bigger is the nation. And the biggest is the globe. It all arises from the individual. Why don't you have this societal nature in you? Whenever we take up sannyasa, what was the purpose of sannyasa? I left. I said at one time there was a need for employment. I am very grateful that I have been able to do some service within the organization. The time has come for me to leave it. I am going to take up sannyasa. So please allow me to retire. This is the way I resign. Why did I resign? Was it to keep quiet? I was only 23 years old. Instead of working for 5 or 6 hours, I think I was working for several hours a day. Ever since then, it was working in a constricted environment. Thereafter, the whole became. I always say, the streets of India alone welcomed me, and the invisible providence shaded me. See, from a flat, from a house, into the streets of India, and into the canopy of providence. Can you imagine the expansion? Sarva bhuta hiderada. Now we are speaking primarily. Swamiji, can this speaking be the social service? Yes. The humans are served where? First is bodily service. Food, shelter and clothing. These are the primary items the body needs. Food, shelter and clothing. Then for the inner personality, peace and joy for the mind, knowledge for the intelligence, sublimation and elevation for the ego. Now we are doing the inner personality service. That is always by transmitting or imparting knowledge. In all our academic centers, what is taking place? Education. Education means what? Imparting knowledge to the inner personality. Similarly, people who do not have food, you must have institutions or centers where they are given food. Any government should ensure that all the citizens have food to eat and a place to rest, some dress to wear. Otherwise, the government has no meaning and a purpose at all. They are owning the entire land and they are passing legislations, levying tax. Having done both, if they are not able to provide food and employment to the people, I don't know what is their purpose. What is the purpose of government? We don't own the land, they own the land. And they pass legislations, levying taxes. Everything is run by them. The land is owned by them. What else do you want? The air is owned by them. The water is owned by them. The skies also are owned by them. We are only as servants and citizens of the country we can move with the freedom they allow. And they cannot look after the people here. Then can we look after ourselves? Is it possible? Because it requires a very protracted infrastructure. Sarva bhuta hite rada. Labhande Brahma Nirvanam Rishayaha Kshina Kalmashaha. At least recite this sloka. Labhante Brahma Nirvanam.
Labhante Brahma Nirvanam.
Rishayaha Kshina Kalmashaha.
Rishaya Kshina Kalmashaha.
Chinnadvaitha Yatatmanaha.
Chinnadvaitha yatatmanaha.
Sarvabhuta Hiterataha.
Sarvabhuta hiterataha.
When comparing devotional sadhana with jnana sadhana, in the 12th chapter, Krishna uses this again there. Sarvabhuta hiterataha. Sarva means all, bhuta means beings, hita means interested in sarvabhuta hita. Rataha, interested. So, what is the interest of all beings? What is their welfare? Be interested in that welfare. You need not do everything, you should not, you cannot also. But something you should do. Our mind should cherish, should constantly have the feelings and concern for others. That is why in our prayers, a Sarvabhuta prayer is there for us. Sarve bhavantu sukhinaha, sarve santu niramayaha. At least mentally you feel and wish like that. Sarve janaha sukhino bhavantu. May all people be peaceful and happy. At least say and feel that. Always thinking about my family and my members. Even to marry, you have to get a boy or girl from another family. Still you people are selfish. I cannot understand how can you be so selfish. Selfish, selfish, selfish. I and my family, I and my family. What about the neighbor? When a girl gets married, becomes pregnant and delivers a child, I feel she becomes a mother. You know that the birth of motherhood in her heart, it should become a great festivity for the world. Because she starts feeling, as is myself a mother, as is my child, so are all the children in the world. That expansion should overtake her. I have got a child in my family, and child is family child. Is it a family child or is it a national citizen, a country citizen and global citizen? Every mother and father should instill into the mind of the child, though your body is born of my body, you are a citizen of the country and the world. In inculcating this expansion, what is the trouble? You know, the benefits will be unimaginable. When the mind begins to expand, can you tell me the performancial confidence and the performancial outturn, how much it will be? Our hands are not going to extend. Everything will be blocked when you become 21 years old. The body's growth is over. Then, in whatever you do, if a greater output or outturn has to be had, it is only from the mind and the intelligence. A constricted mind will be able to bring about a constricted output. An expanded mind or expansive mind will be able to bring far greater output. Sarvabhuta hiterataha. I shall stop. We will discuss it more. Samvedyavarjitamanottamameghamadyam samvidpadam vikalanam kalayan mahatman hridyeva tishtha kalanarahita kriyam tu kurvan akartrapadamedya samodita shri kurvan akartrapadamethya samodita shri. Hari, 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 Om Tat Sat. We shall have a conclusional Omkara once. Take your pose for it as before. Hari Om Tat Sat. Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru.